Move on to the other theme of the papers this morning. I'm afraid it's a familiar one. You may be getting a sense of déjà vu, but there's yet more talk about bringing back Boris. Now, the first intriguing story is in the Sunday Times that Johnson flew for secret talks with autocrat Maduro in Venezuela. That is obviously very interesting because he seems to be freelancing on the side, although he did tell the Foreign Secretary, David Cameron, that he was going there for these sort of back-channel talks. We've got talk in the Mail on Sunday about a new plot to oust Rishi, and they want Boris to take over. I wrote a piece about the Henley plot yesterday in the Telegraph, which has picked up a little bit of traction. And then a leader column in the Mail on Sunday, which perhaps is the point. I don't know whether you agree with this premise. Boris can help this, save the Tories, but he doesn't have to be leader. Michael. Boris, help or hindrance?
Well, he's a great election winner. I just have to remind myself he was twice Mayor of London, for heaven's sake, as well as becoming Prime Minister. He won the referendum as well, by the way. He is an enormous election winner. So the great conundrum is, how do you connect this election winner to a party in which he's no longer a part of the parliamentary group? I think he could only campaign for the Tories in the general election with any conviction, any credibility, if he were a candidate at the election. So the point that you were making in your article about the candidate there stepping aside for Boris, I think that is a very interesting one. Whether Rishi is going to be magnanimous enough to allow Boris to do campaigning, I think is a big question. But I mean, the Tories have to be realistic. It looks very much as though they're going to lose big time. If Boris comes in, it might mean that they lose a little less big time.
And also that makes the prospect of whoever takes over from Rishi Sunak, should the time come, of maybe thinking it might be one Labour term rather than two. And then that makes the prospect of Conservatism in the future a bit more appetising. If it's electoral oblivion, if it's total wipeout, you know, like Tories left sort of completely dangling, facing an existential crisis, and I suppose that's a different set of situation.
I mean, a footnote on Boris. One, he could still be a Member of Parliament if he contested the Uxbridge by-election. Two, if you think he was a bad, disorganised Prime Minister, just wait until you see him as leader of the opposition. Because, you know, at least if you're Prime Minister, you're sustained by the machinery of government. In opposition, it's just freewheeling.
Indeed.